Okay, and last but not least, the last lecture for Sprint 1 Week 4, how to handle all the WebGL stuff. How to build WebGL, how to get it up on itch.io, how to make sure the link is good, and post it all that good stuff. So, I am all done. I tested everything. We are in great condition. I will go back up to File, Build Settings. Remember, your endpoint deliverable is done. You got your text. You got your wireframe image. And you're wrapping up your prototype. So, hopefully you have all your scenes in build. They're all turned on. They're all correct. You have WebGL built. You've been testing your game view in 960 by 600, so there's no surprises when you build. And click Build. And create a new folder and call it Build. So I'm at the root of my project. I click New Folder. I call it capital B for Build. I just like to store my stuff here. Once you do that, click Build. It'll sit there. It'll go through. I've already built mine. But it takes a while, so I wanted to just do it. And if you go over to here, what you'll do is in the console is say Build Successful. And if it's not saying build successful, it says build failed or whatever, you got to email me, you got to come into lab time. But if it says build successful, that's great. So what will happen is let me delete this. You'll have it look like this. You'll have a folder. So this is within build. This is what WebGL looks like. You have two folders. You have this build folder, you have some JavaScript, some Unity stuff, some JSON file. You have this template data, a bunch of images, and just thumbnails and all this stuff that they use when it runs in its player frame on the web browser. And you have this index.html. So it used to be you could test it locally through Firefox. Google Chrome would say you have a security issue, you can't run this locally, and Edge and Firefox you used to be able to test locally, so you don't have to upload it and test it and have a lengthier time before testing it if everything's okay. But unfortunately, everyone's clamped down. All the browsers now say this isn't kosher. You can't run this. So this is what it looks like in Firefox, which used to be able to run in Firefox. So whatever, you're going to have to go blind in uploading it, and hopefully it works. If not, you just need to go through a build and upload process. You don't really want as many steps before knowing if everything is right, but it is what it is. So you got your two folders and you got your index.html. You got to take everything. I use 7-zip, but whatever you got to use, you got to just zip it. It doesn't really matter what you zip the name. Just in this case, it's just called build zip. Ultimately, you just want a zip file that has these two folders in this file. When you're done with that, we are going to go to itch.io, and you are going to create an account. I already have one, but create an account. And once you create an account, you can go to your dashboard or you can upload from here. Notice I have a lot of projects already. One of them is the educational software design, Sprint 1 prototype. And so this is it, uploaded and running. And so basically you have to wait till you upload everything and then you can test it. So notice some of these graphics anyway were in that folder I was showing you, all that miscellaneous images. And intro, it works just like it did in Unity, but I'm testing it up here as well because you never know. Everything looks great. So I did my testing and you know that you're good to go. So how do you get to this point? All right, upload new project. And you're going to call, whatever you call the title of it, it's going to fill out the project URL. So call it something relatively simple, maybe like IT380, Sprint 1, prototype, or what have you. But notice it's my name, my user account.hio / the name of your project. This is going to be the project URL. You can write a short description here, just one sentence. It's great. Leave it as a name. Now you want it to be a HTML project. If you want to get fancy, you can put a cover image up. You could add some screenshots. Now, for your own portfolio reasons, you'll want to do this, and actually for the final presentation, I'm going to have you go through and add all this stuff. But it's a Sprint 1. Just be aware you can start thinking about what you want, like the thumbnail to be, what screenshots you want, and look, provide a link to a video, to a gameplay video, and I'm going to have you actually make a gameplay video on YouTube and then link it to it. But that's for the final presentation. So yeah, release, that's fine, whatever. You can say click it as a prototype. Pricing is 0. So upload file is where you're going to click that button. You're going to navigate to where your project is. Go to build, and here's where you get the zip. Okay, once it's uploaded, you're going to say this file will be played in the browser. And notice all those other options went away. This is good. This is what you want. Keep going. So you don't want this. You want auto detect from Unity. Remember, it was defaulting to 960 by 600. You want this to read from your Unity files what it should be. It's not really mobile friendly. Actually, as long as you have a left click is a single touch. Actually, I've run stuff on mobile. It's just a little clunky. You have to make sure your buttons are super big. Your UI buttons are really big, that size of a finger. But whatever, you can resize your stuff and click. It is by default, it is touch support. It's just you need to resize your stuff a little bit. If you want to go for it, you can do it. The rest of this stuff, I don't really bother with. The Unity thing already has a full screen button if you want to go with it. And this is not recommended for Unity either. And then here's more full details. So since you're making your deliverable, your endpoint deliverable, it's okay. You don't need to fill this out. For your final presentation, I'll ask for it. Genre, educational. You can drop down some tags if you care to. Unity, the different type of subjects you're covering. Who knows? Now, you can disable comments if you want to. It doesn't matter. You probably don't want to. I've never had anyone commented. It seems like a very friendly community, but whatever. It's the internet. So the big thing is it's going to be draft. Notice public isn't ready yet, but that's okay. Click Save and View. Loading game for the first time. Now this is important. People will give me this link and they won't test it, and it won't work. Why? Because it's in draft mode. So even though it works for you, it's your account. Yeah, there's this secret URL thing. I really wouldn't bother with it. It's a prototype. It's put up on itch.io. Just go into edit game. Now that it works, we go down to the bottom and we just say public. Just make the thing public. It's really not a big deal. Click on view page. The comments are disabled anyway. But notice instead of draft, it says published. All right, now this link is good. So this is the link that you can use. You can go through and test it. So let it load up. You can go through, make sure everything is fine, make sure nothing is cut off. Your buttons aren't cut off, nothing. You could try it full screen if you want to. That's great. Escape out, everything works great. Take this link and to test, just log out and then try to run it. And you know the link is good. You know if it's public, if when you're logged out, the game will run. Uh-oh. You wouldn't even get this far if it would say like link not found or something. And this happens, I'll get a few students who post this, they won't test it, and I can't grade you because the link doesn't work. So I tested it. It works great. Here's the link to my prototype. And that's the same link that's on the Canvas page. And so this is how you get your prototype out. This is how you build WebGL. This is how you get your build up on itch.io. And ultimately, you know, this is here we go. Here's the link to it there. But when you do your posting down here, you're going to write out all your endpoint, which includes the revised midpoint, all the new content from the endpoint, add in any images as needed. The wireframe is a definite and needs to be an embedded JPEG. And then post in the link and say, here is my prototype, and put the link to that in there. And then save it out. You can always edit your postings later. Save it out and test everything. Make sure it looks good. Make sure your images, your diagram looks good. It's not too small. It's not too big. Everything's legible. Make sure when you click the link, it works. And then you'll be good. So now you have till October 4th to do everything I've done in the videos. Just make sure that you read all the comments from your feedback, midpoint feedback. Jess is finishing up her reviews now. We'll get those out. Do your edit, your revision to your midpoint. Add all your new content for your endpoint. Make the prototype, get the link. All right, and that concludes Sprint 1. Good luck and come to lab time.